Jay did not fall in love with Paige all at once. It happened slowly, in fragments. Late-night conversations after work that went on for hours until they both slept off, still talking. Shared meals that turned into laughter, silences that felt safe. He felt he could tell her everything. It wasn't Paige he was initially targeting as his meal ticket, according to Brian's plan. It was her friend, Susan. But Susan didn't give him the time of day, so he went for the next best choice, Paige. Paige was nothing like Susan or the other girls at the club that night. She was gentle, observant, and carried a quiet sadness Jay never asked about. She listened, really listened, when he spoke about hunger, loss, and starting life from nothing. He almost felt bad deceiving her. When Jay finally told her his real name was Boniface, she smiled and said, "Names don't matter, character does." That was the first time anyone had chosen him, without conditions. Against Brian's advice, they married 2 years later. The wedding was small but warm. It was attended by mostly Paige's friends, family, and colleagues. Paige wore a simple dress and looked truly radiant and happy. Their first daughter came quickly. The second child followed soon after. They had a happy home. For a while, life was kind. Paige believed in Jay fiercely. When he said he wanted to start his own engineering business, she didn't hesitate. She emptied her savings immediately. Jay promised her it was temporary. The business grew slowly, too slowly for a man who had known hunger and swore never to return to it. Others his age were buying houses, posting vacations, driving better cars. Jay began to feel cheated by life. Paige was getting promoted at work and making tons of money. Brian was making money by dubious means. He was living off rich women. But Jay's business was failing. He felt like a failure. He began to search for quick money. He turned to loan sharks, and soon he could not pay them back. It was Brian who first suggested it. They met for drinks, and Jay told him everything. "Disappear," Jay said. "Reinvent yourself. Present yourself as single, free, successful." Then Jay met Evelyn on one of his business trips to the United States. She was older, African American, extremely wealthy. Her loneliness was expensive, her affection even more so. Jay became who she needed him to be: ambitious, single, doting on her. Evelyn paid for trips, introduced him to luxury, opened doors he had never imagined. Jay tasted money without effort, and it changed him. All this time, he never revealed to Evelyn that he was a married man with children. He began plotting. Brian had always been there. The friend who shared his hostel room. The friend who dragged him to the club where he met Paige. The one who advised him to find a rich girl. Brian was the first to know about Evelyn, and the first to suggest the unthinkable. "Disappear," Brian said quietly. "People die every day, especially abroad." The plan was simple, cruel, perfect. A staged swimming trip, fake witnesses, a drowning story that couldn't be verified. Jay would vanish. Boniface would die. Paige would grieve. Evelyn would inherit the lie. Brian handled the logistics, paid the right people, filed the right reports. Jay watched from a distance as his own death became official. He did not think of Paige. She was a means to an end. Years later, Jay returned to Nigeria, not as a ghost, but as a groom. Evelyn wanted a cultural wedding, something authentic, something African. They attended a church wedding as guests first, to observe the culture. Jay sat comfortably beside her, relaxed, safe, until the scream. When Jay turned toward the sound, time slowed. He saw Paige's face, the shock, the fear in her eyes. He saw her run out of the church. And in that moment, Jay understood something too late. You can fake your death, but you cannot bury the truth. Evelyn would later learn the truth. So would the police. And Brian, who thought he was safe, would be arrested for fraud. Because Paige had never stopped asking questions. She had never stopped looking. And she had kept every record, every call, every name. The man who was buried without a body was finally exposed. Not by the law, but by love that refused to forget. Some men run from poverty. Some run from responsibility. But the deadliest thing a man can run from is the woman who knows his past and survives his lies.